Hello all, welcome to oratrainings.com. In this session, we'll discuss about how do we enable a purchase order approval, and also we'll try to validate how do we submit a purchase order for approval, and also how do we configure it, and the list of tables which are involved in to identify what is the status of PO. So let's quickly get into the agenda. The configuration, transaction console, as well as queries. So the first thing is how do you enable PO for approval? So you can just navigate to the task called configure procurement business function for your specific business unit and make sure that you select automatically submit for approval. And once that is done, so what is the way to configure an approval? So the first option what we have is, or the options what we have is, one is using a BPM process called document approval. And if you want to go via task, it is a manage purchasing document approvals. We'll understand clearly in the next slide. So the first option you can consider using, we generally call it as FSM approach, wherein within the Fusion screen, like generally the ADF pages screen, right? This particular using the screen, you can just edit or delete or update kind of a rule. So the task for this one is manage purchasing document approval. So here you can just click on edit the rules, enable it or disable it, delete it. All these things you can do it. This is the first option of configuring the BPM rules. The other one, what we generally call it as BPM option. So wherein we'll come to this slide later stage. And the other second approach is you can just navigate to setup and maintenance task list, search for manage task configuration procurement. You'll be navigating to this particular page, and here you search document approval. So this is the BPM process for the purpose of like enabling purchase order. Okay. And now, so here you can modify it. As of now, most of them are disabled. I just added one of the participant, so which will assign the purchase order to a specific approval group that I'll show you. And now, once you have submitted a workflow, once you have submitted your PO for the approval, how do we validate the status of your PO? So there are a couple of options we have. The first option you can have is you can navigate to tools, transaction console. From there, you can find out what is the status of your PO. This is how we can find it. And the other one is using like the tables. We have PO header solve as well as PO action history, and of course the workflow task history table also we have it. Okay. Now, the other option, the other option to validate the PO from the front end is you can navigate your purchase order, click on the status. Once you click on the status, it shows another pop-up wherein you can find out in which stage it is pending or what the list of stages to whom it went on and who did what. All these things also you can find it. Okay. So finally, using the task history logic, right? So you can just for the task history, the primary key you have to pass is the identification key, and also the process name we have to consider is the approve purchasing document. The process name is approve purchasing document, and the identification key is the like concatenation of purchase order followed by what you call the version ID followed by PO header ID, and then finally you have to mention the version, whether it is a first version. If at all, if you have a change order, right, it will become one. Initially it is zero, then later on it'll go on increasing. Now I'll just navigate to the Fusion instance and we'll try to check it practically now, right? So first thing is I'll just navigate here to the purchase order screen. I'll try to close things which are not required. Yeah. I'll go to procurement, purchase order, and quickly I'll just create a purchase order now. So click on the task list, create order, and yeah, I'll just select ABC Consulting, click on create. So we should be able to finish our purchase order within 2 minutes. Yeah, but let's see. So we have provided the header information, and now we require to provide the lines information in the purchase order, which is a mandatory one for submission. I'll click on plus symbol. It'll add up a new record in the line section. We just add the couple of mandatory parameters, description and a category. I just add up. I just add each. base price 25. That's it. So now what I'll do is I'll just click on submit, or maybe you can click on save and submit. Initially the status was incomplete. Once you click on submit, right, the status will get changed. Let's see what it shows. And it generates the purchase order with the number US 165038. Okay. So yeah, this got generated. We'll navigate to the transaction monitor. So the transaction monitor will be available from the tool section. Click on tools. Click on tools. Now navigate to transaction console. Then uncheck the failed one. And you should be able to see the latest one which we submitted. This is the one. And it is still generating. It's not yet done yet. Okay. So now what we do is we'll navigate. So you can just, it is not yet refreshed, right? You can just click on this icon. Now it will get refreshed. You should be able to see the updated count. And here the total two pending purchase order for approval. And now this is the latest one which we have submitted, 5038. So I just clicked on manage purchase order and then clicked on the purchase order. Now we'll be navigating to the purchase order screen. And there you can just click on the status and then we'll understand what it is pending. So here on the status, it shows pending approval. Click on this one. And now let us understand to whom it is pending with. Now we can observe carefully here, clearly. The first status, like at 111, it is approved, and but it is pending with 211, which is with the user Calvin Roth, and this is a participant name. So this is the participant which I have created from the BPM. We'll show that. For now, so we are able to understand the status of the purchase order from the purchase order screen. Similarly, from here also you should be able to find it. Just refresh here. Yeah. So now you can observe here the assignee is Calvin Roth, and you can just click on this purchase order, and there is one participant which is the auto approval one, and then it went into Calvin Roth. For now, it is pending with Calvin Roth. Now we'll just try to check the information from the backend also. Now let's say I'll just first of all I'll just reload the report. Yeah, I'll just try to reload because it has been a while which I completed it, so definitely it will not work. I'll try to come to this page again, click on catalog, and I'll go to custom folders. Yeah, so PO approval history, click on edit. And here I've just designed a couple of queries. I'll just click on data and just run it. As of now, I'll not provide any identification key. And here you can observe here, the one which we have run is this one, 6038, which is pending with approval. And now this was our PO header ID. And the same information is available in the action history table, PO action history. So this is the identification key which will be available in the action history table. And this is a concatenation of your object ID as well as version ID, right? You can observe here, object ID is 7003, which is nothing but a purchase order, and 7004, which is nothing but our version ID. You can observe this one. Okay. And I'll just copy this and I'll provide this as an input to our workflow history table. And it clearly tells you now all the details of the approval history which we have been seeing. And also it shows the participant name, the one which I'm talking about, new dot participant name. And here for the from this participant, this was a user. It tells assign to whom it is assigned. It is assigned to this particular person. Let's see the first person name. Yeah. The assignee display name is Calvin Roth. So to this person, it got assigned because of this approval rule. Now, let us see the information from this particular one. So I'll just navigate here to the work list and you can observe here and click on assignee. And now this was the new participant which I added. And here the approval for this one is just based on one of the static approval group, XXORA PO approval group. So you can observe the approval group here. Yeah, this one. I just assigned only one user, the Calvin Roth. So this is one of the way where you can add a participant, right? Using the BPM worklist task configuration. The other one I can just navigate setup and maintenance. So the approach one, manage purchasing document approvals. So make sure that you select the procurement and I just observe this manage purchase document approvals. And here let's try to edit it. And now I'm getting this error because I added a participant using the BPM work list. So the thing is, if at all, if you add a participant using manage document approvals, and this will get synchronized in the BPM work list, but vice versa is not possible. So now as I already added a participant here in the BPM work list, so it is not allowing me to view this particular purchasing document one. So the other first option is when you are designing the workflow, make sure that you decide using which approach you want to configure your workflow. So now I'll just click on edit. So this is not required actually. I just clicked on it. So now here. So I'll try to delete the participant which I added. Yeah. So as I just clicked on this particular task, it will definitely take some time for it to finish it off. Okay. So let's wait for 1 minute. So major thing is the purchase order and the action history table and the workflow history table. So this was a major query. So using which we have able to identify, right? Fusion Sova Infra workflow task history. So this was a major table in which you can get all the information about your workflow. The same information will generally get displayed at the PO level also, this particular information. Okay. So this is how we can configure the workflow. So maybe, you can ignore this particular functionality. So the only thing I would like to advise is, first of all, when you get a requirement, try to understand using which particular approach you want to decide it, whether you want to go with the BPM approach or FSM approach. Okay. So based on that, you'll have the efficient way of designing your workflow. Thank you.